Hello YouTube, welcome back. I wanted to continue with part 3 of this series, and I am going to walk you through the general process of defecting a tree. So you have gross and net volume. Gross is what's here. Net is for the deductions for like sweep, sweep, crooks, rot, so on and so forth. So as we covered in our other previous segments, we have a tree that's 8.3 inches in diameter and 74 feet in height. So and as a general rule, you have a total height, which is the 74, and then the merchant height, or what you can get out, is to usually like a 4 or 6 inch top diameter. So so it depends on what they're using this for, but to keep it simple, we'll assume that it's a 6 inch. This is going to go to saw timber at like a stud mill or something. But generally, unless you have a reloscope, which I don't currently have right now, it's usually just a rough estimate of what the top diameter is. So usually, because this tree is actually pretty nice and tall and all that stuff, I would say a 15-foot deduction from the top true height to the 6 inch diameter. So 74 minus 15 is 59, yes. And then you gotta make another deduction for the 1 foot stump, because generally most logging sites, they usually specify stump of 1 foot or less when you cut the tree. There's all the exceptions to the rule, but that's kind of the way we do it here in Colorado. But to start, there's so we have 58 feet of log, or of merchant height, and it's fairly subjective, but generally speaking, each the tree is divided up into like 16-foot logs. So 16 goes into 58 or whatever. Let's see, got to do some math, like about 4 times. Maybe that. So there's probably about 4 logs in here. So you usually start with the first log. The first log is the most valuable, and so don't have a defect chart I can show you, but that one would be like a foot, just that for that. And then you have some sweep, which you're deducting another foot, because you can get a piece out of here, but you're going to lose quite a bit. So, and actually I'd probably take a little bit more. So if you draw a line straight down like that, you're losing maybe a quarter or so of, from like 8 foot to the 1 foot, so let's call it 6. So a quarter of 6, round up, was like 2, so it's 3 foot, and then, or 3%, and that's probably the top end of the log. There's a crook right there, and that is, you're probably losing another foot or 2, so give it a couple percent. So we're probably looking at, let's see, 2 and 2. It's like 6% for that first log. And then we'll say the sweep is a little bit more, a little less in there, so maybe 3% for the second. You got crook way up there, and so I'd probably say like 4%, so we're at like 13%. And then in the top there's probably a little bit more crook. So Well, let's just call it 15% just for that. So that's kind of the general idea. Unfortunately, defect is one of those things that is very subjective, and everybody has their own way of doing it. The feds, the state, private, we all do things a little different, but but I want to at least walk you through kind of the general idea. So we came up with 15% for this tree, and that's a 15% deduction from the gross. So so whatever the gross volume would be, so say it's like a cord, let's just make it easy. There's a obviously I'm probably overestimating, but there's a cord, so now after 15% deduction, you're faced with 85% of one cord. That's probably the best way I can explain it. But I hope to maybe make another video at some point that can shed a little bit more clarity on this topic. And once again, I wanted to thank you again for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.